It's finally been announced. The specific currency conversions from Enlisted's existing bronze, silver, and gold orders to the new and so-called simplified monetary system, silver. I'll go through all the key things you need to know about it in this dev blog and what you need to do about it right now in preparation for the merge, which will also have its own separate dedicated video out soon anyway about other things you need to do for it, so subscribe so you don't miss it. The first thing to note here though is that the numbers presented here are not final and therefore subject to change. So if you do want to do nothing and wait until it is final, then of course be my guest and just watch this video and don't act on any of the points that I mentioned. This video, which hopefully will also be just quite short, might also get a little complex with remembering all the numbers here as well. So if it does overwhelm you for any reason, and of course I can imagine it will for many, as it did me as well initially, then I'll just give you some specific pieces of advice at the end so you can ignore most of it. And perhaps the most important thing to begin with is that the whole concept of silver is unchanged, as in you will still grind it proportionally with experience gained in battle, as you do now with all the 4 different types of orders. And you'll get this new silver at the rates about to be specified with the currency conversion, so realistically nothing changes. The silver will also be used to buy weapons, soldiers, but also vehicles now too, alongside upgrading all of them. But soldiers will no longer need to be upgraded. So as for initial currency conversion rates, they are on screen now. These standalone numbers are a little misleading and imply you should really value your silver orders, especially silver troop orders, and disregard bronze orders. But that's not strictly true. Remember that you won't even need as many orders anymore now anyway, considering that campaigns are merging, because you won't need to buy as many repeat weapons, equipment, and soldiers for all factions split into 5 different grinds, like Germany is right now. As for purchasing new soldiers, you can see the prices are increasing, using before and after merge calculations, all in terms of the new silver currency. Highest tier soldiers will be increasing the most, by almost 11.5 times. This sounds stupidly expensive at first glance, but remember, upgrading soldiers won't exist soon, so it will cost nothing. And that 11.4 thousand silver you might have spent upgrading them beforehand is now just used for buying them. Basically, nothing changes at all in regards to soldiers and their expenses. It's the same price to get a max level tier 4 soldier before and after the merge. But awesomely, it will be cheaper to get maxed out soldiers of tiers 1, 2, and 3 after the merge. To do these calculations, add up both buying and upgrading costs for before and after, and compare the differences. Though, because of this, what you want to do now is spend your silver troop orders on new soldiers. Get a whole range of soldiers of all classes and of all tiers. As remember, different soldier tiers have different battle ratings according to the draft tech tree, so you can use different ones for different battle ratings after the merge. And you do all of this because it's cheaper now to purely buy them, but don't upgrade them. You just waste bronze orders, as they will all be max rank after the merge, as upgrades won't exist. Same goes with premium squads now if you do buy them. Unless you just want to, don't upgrade them to max level either. So, in short, overall individual soldier costs are either the same or cheaper, and you won't even need as many soldiers in the future. So basically everything's just a lot cheaper, even if it doesn't seem that way at the start. Spend your silver troop orders now on all sorts of troop tiers and classes, but save your bronze troop orders now. Obviously though, if you're still grinding certain campaigns and you're just a low level, then you can mostly just ignore this, as you will still need to upgrade new soldiers and weapons in the meantime before this merge happens, because we don't really know when it's actually going to happen yet. It could be any time within the next few months. So yes, if you are a new player, you can mostly ignore the advice. Just carry on grinding, basically. I wouldn't necessarily advise this min-maxing, as it would just cause you pain in the meantime if you do try and care about all of this. What about for weapons? You can see here that similarly, purchasing new weapons will be more expensive, but only by around 2 to 3 times more, not 11 times as per the silver troop orders. But upgrading them will be cheaper, with and without unlocking the discounted upgrade costs from the existing green tree in the squad upgrades as you currently have now. And of course, remember, you will need fewer weapons anyway when the merge happens, as there'll just be one army. So what should you do now knowing this information? Well, it's less clear-cut considering upgrading weapons will now still exist. On the whole though, still spend your silver weapon orders on whatever equipment and weaponry of all quality, both early and late war, and save your bronze, as upgrading, what bronze is used for now, will be cheaper after the merge. But buying weapons, what silver is used for now, is cheaper now before the merge. Hopefully that makes sense. And then of course there's the whole vehicle changes, which actually might be the biggest change here. You now need to purchase a vehicle, which you didn't need to before and you don't need to right now. You just grind the level and you get the vehicle for free. So after the merge, you'll need to grind for the vehicle, then buy it. Now of course, this looks very expensive. In fact, 25,000 silver for purchasing a vehicle at tier 3, which, yeah, that does sound like a lot. And upgrading vehicles will also now be more expensive. Now, to me, this looks like Enlisted's attempt at trying to make vehicles a bit less prevalent in the game, which, I mean, makes sense. It is an infantry game after all, just with the addition of bonus vehicles like tanks and aircraft. But it does say they've done this because they wanted to bring the cost of armoured vehicles roughly in line with that of infantry squads, which now makes sense when you think about it. These costs look expensive, but bear in mind, you don't need to kit out the vehicle with added weapons and equipment. But as for infantry squads, you would, making the cost increase infinitely. But then, of course, remember, you can skip vehicles and weapons and equipment, whatever you want, after the merge happens, which is partially the justification for rising these prices as well. Because if you don't want to use the M10 GMC, you don't have to. You can just pick a jumbo and call it there. And lastly, there are also some sneaky tactics and ways now to maximize your silver if you want to do that before the merge happens, that the player base have already figured out, if you do care about this whole perfectly min-max kind of stuff. But of course, bear in mind the numbers could still change and therefore make these strategies less useful in future, so I don't recommend actually doing these now unless you've just got an abundance of orders for whatever reason. Basically just like me. They also said they may be looking into upping the bronze order value, both for soldiers and weaponry, so keep an eye out if they do change this, as this might affect the whole strategy of processes of tactics we have right here. Anyway, one method is to abuse your Pacific Campaign Phalanxis packs if you bought them before they were removed from the store, which if you remember, automatically give you 4 out of 5-star weapons and soldiers guaranteed, rather than the possibility of getting lower than that from buying soldiers and weaponry in any other campaigns. I'll leave one idea up now on screen for you, and the calculations are also all there showing you how it actually will increase your silver count when the merge happens if you do follow through exactly as this. It doesn't work on Stalingrad though if you have that Phalanxis pack apparently, as all values there for orders were changed anyway, but in general you could still buy weapons in this campaign in the meantime before the merge if you want them, due to them coming at 4 stars already, and then transfer them to other campaigns that they're already present in. But it doesn't make sense to sell them, as we discussed previously. Anyway, this whole thing is super confusing for many, I know, and if you need more help, then join us over on the biggest unofficial Discord server, link in the description, and ask away there. Someone, an official helper, or maybe even myself will know the answer and we'll get back to you. Oh, and if you're wondering what I meant when I spoke about the draft tech tree, you need to watch this video next, as it will explain everything that was in there as well as what you should really be making notes of. And of course, there's our massive Twitch streams as well, where we will be playing some super intense and close games right now that will be what the game is like after the merge happens. It's exciting and you should join us.